Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm joined by Councilman Scott Walker, Councilman Dominic Impastato, Councilwoman Jennifer Van Rankin, Dr. Joe Cantor with the state, Dr. Jerry Satanovich, Sheriff Lapinto, our Superintendent of Schools, Kate Brumley, Joe Valiente, who is with our Emergency Operations Center, Todd Murphy with the Jefferson Parish Chamber, and Jerry Bologna with JEDCO. As of today's count of cases for COVID-19, we have in Louisiana 2,746 cases. That is the current number, with 548 in Jefferson Parish. That is a 20% increase from Jefferson Parish numbers yesterday for positive cases. In Louisiana, we have 119 deaths as of today, 24 in Jefferson Parish. The very troubling statistic for us in Jefferson Parish is that is a doubling of deaths that we have seen in the past 24 hours. Yesterday we only had 12, today we have 24. So no matter what you hear, no matter what conflicting information you may get, the message is clear that for those of us in the Louisiana area, for those of us in the greater New Orleans area, we need to stay at home. This virus and the major impact of this virus is still ahead of us. We are not out of this by any means. We are still climbing. And so the key for us, again, we always talk about flattening the curve. How high was that curve going to be? We need to flatten it, but we are still absolutely on the climb. And I know for our people who are at home, and you get it on the news, you get it on the national news, you see governors all over the United States talking about it, but make no mistake, those of us in Louisiana are on the forefront of this issue right now. We are at the top of the heap. The rates of infection, the rates of death, we are at the very top in this country. Louisiana was ranked third in number of positive cases per capita. Louisiana was ranked third in positive cases for the death rate. The Louisiana statistics are so high because of those of us in the greater New Orleans area. So mathematically, our rates are even more troubling than Louisiana, but we're the reason Louisiana is so high is those of us that are in this Orleans, Jefferson Parish area and surrounding parishes. So please understand, I know you're getting it from a lot of places, but make no mistake, we lead the country on this, as we say. Our council members just got finished an incredible conference call with our people of faith and our leaders of faith to get them accurate information, to ask them for prayers, and to ask them to communicate to their congregation the importance of social distancing and staying at home. And it was an incredible call. We had almost 100 people on that call. Jefferson Parish will host a virtual day of prayer. We would like everybody to tune in on our Facebook Live page at 3 p.m. this Sunday, and we're planning that now for Jefferson Parish and any resident to join us in a day of prayer, as we know so many people in our community need these prayers. Our medical personnel at all of our hospitals, at all of our doctors' offices are being tested beyond measure, and certainly we are a community of faith, and we just want to come together in a virtual way in Jefferson Parish to celebrate our lives and the strength that we must have now to get through this crisis. Starting this Sunday, in line with New Orleans, our transit fees will be waived. We are concerned about people passing cash, so our transit fees on our system will be waived starting this Sunday. The governor and the mayor of New Orleans have talked about, and we're talking about, the federal resources that are coming down to the convention center. So that is great news for us in Jefferson Parish as well. This is going to be a regional asset for us. This is going to be a multi-parish asset that patients who are at hospitals that are positive, who are able to, they're not in critical care, but they're able to step down and be a level 2 type of care, that they would be able to go to the convention center and get the medical support they need, but without taking a hospital bed that could be opened up for someone who's in critical care. And again, everything we're doing is about managing our medical resources so that it's not your loved one who's out of a ventilator, it's not your loved one who's told there's not a hospital bed for them. And so please, please, please understand, and I hope we've turned the corner on this, we need to have people understand, if you don't care about it so much for yourself and you think that you're young, you're not going to catch it, think about your parents, think about your grandparents, and think about how we're counting down ventilators. Hospitals are literally counting the ventilators they're being used and how much they can order as we are approaching this next week ahead. The testing continues at the two New Orleans area sites as well as our Alario Center site. You have to be a Louisiana resident over 18 with symptoms to be tested. The lines are long, and unfortunately, we reach our capacity at about 10:30 or 11 every day. So as testing comes on board, and we've seen that through commercial and through our hospitals, that's what we need in this community, but we still stand up our testing site at the Alario Center. Ochsner, I know, LCMC, they're already going to start looking at in-house testing, and that will be a much quicker turnaround when our hospitals are able to do the in-house testing themselves. Again, I want to point everyone to jplibrary.net for our resources. I've said this many times. We've opened it up to everyone in any parish. You can just jplibrary.net, get on that website, get your temporary library card right on the website, and it's thousands of books, movies, recipes, learn a language, learn a new software. Please, for those of you who are staying at home, check out that site for us. I encourage everyone, this is a two-prong issue we're facing, and this is the two-prong issue of concern. Number one is the medical capacity that we're going to be able to have for our community, and number two, it's the economic suffering that people will have knowing that people are laid off. What keeps me up at night is thinking that families might be hungry. And so please, Second Harvest Food Bank, I visited them yesterday. They have Louisiana National Guard there. They are looking to expand. Please consider a donation to the Second Harvest Food Bank. And that is an incredible way for you to be at home and help in this effort in an incredible way. There has been a crisis hotline for mental health issues. It's called Keep Calm Through COVID hotline. The number is 1-866-310-7977. Again, the number is 1-866-310-7977. That is a Keep Calm Through COVID hotline. And I know everyone's getting tired. I know our medical community is getting weary. And that is why we're doing the day of prayer, the virtual day of prayer, because as we go through this, it's affected my family. We all are starting to know people who are positive. We are all starting to know people who may have died. And it's certainly going to take an emotional toll on all of us. So we're going to pray for strength, and we're going to pray for endurance, and we're going to pray for positivity. And we will get through this, as we always say, a stronger people for it. Today, a big news on the federal financial front, the stimulus package being passed earlier today through the House of Representatives, and we're going to call up later Mr. Jerry Bologna from JEDCO to give us a detail about that. I know small businesses are suffering, and that is certainly some big relief coming your way. So we'll be available later for questions, but I did want to invite Dr. Joe Cantor up to speak and give some more detailed news on the medical front. Dr. Cantor?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, and good afternoon to everyone. If you're at home and you're watching the national news, you might be tricked into thinking that we're past the brunt of this and it's okay to loosen up on your vigilance. I want to be as clear as I can. That could not be farther from the truth. As President Sheng said, we are just getting into this now. And if there's ever a reason for people to stay at home, remain vigilant, and not let up, that is right now. We're at risk in this community. We are vulnerable for a number of reasons, one of which is we have a lot of comorbidities. That means other medical conditions. Unfortunately, in South Louisiana, we have a lot of diabetes, a lot of heart disease, a lot of liver disease, and a lot of renal disease. That puts us at risk, and that means that when we get sick with anything, we tend to have worse outcomes. COVID is no different. We're seeing high fatality rates at the beginning right now because we have such a high degree of comorbid conditions. What we do with that is important. We need to take that information and recognize that it's even more vital for us to stay vigilant and stay at home. We are more vulnerable here, and so we have to be more vigilant. I'll tell you, the governor and President Sheng have been aggressive in this outbreak, and they've been issuing orders and restrictions well ahead of their counterparts in other areas of the country. Now, that's not to say that it won't go to other places of the country. I think it will. And I think other places are going to soon experience what we are experiencing now. But I don't want folks to watch the news and think it's okay in some other state, so it's okay for me to go back to my normal life. It's not. We're still in the middle of this. In fact, we haven't even hit peak yet. If you look at what's going on in the community, there's a massive undertaking to expand the capacity to provide acute health care at a breakneck pace. Within a week's time, we're going to increase the amount of hospital beds in this region to unprecedented levels. This type of work should be a message to everyone at home that we are in this. It is not safe to let up right now. I want to cover a couple items of advice to people of how to stay safe in this. First is distancing. It's important to remain an appropriate distance from others, and we say that's 6 feet. And that's based on the length of feet a respiratory droplet takes before it falls from the ground, should you be coughed on or breathed on, so forth. So while people definitely need to buy groceries and certain errands that are necessary, when people do that, when people leave their house to do the things that they have to do, essential services, please maintain a distance of 6 feet from everyone else. Also, be really conscientious about touching things. This virus spreads very easily on hard surfaces, so if I'm infected and I touch a door handle or a counter, that virus could stay live on there for hours, maybe even a day or two. So when folks go out and make groceries or pump gas or whatever, be very conscientious about limiting how much you touch hard surfaces and using hand sanitizer or washing your hands thereafter. The other thing I'll mention is testing. In any outbreak like this, we do not expect to be able to diagnose definitively 100% of the cases out there. There will certainly be people that have the disease that we don't get a positive test for, that we don't test at all. At this point, with the amount of community spread we have in this region, the prudent thing to do is for everyone to act as if they have COVID. Everyone needs to act as if they have COVID and stay at home and isolate unless they're sick enough to be in a hospital. And the last thing I'll mention is something that the president has mentioned before, and we've said at a number of press conferences. It's just to acknowledge that our brothers and sisters who work in hospitals now are having a real tough time at it. It's hard work, it's long hours, and they're oftentimes being asked to go without the full compartment of protective gear that we would want them to have. They're honest-to-God heroes, and if there's anything that you can do for healthcare workers that you know, show them some love, I think that would really go a long way right now. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jerry Satanovich. I'm the coroner. Up until yesterday, we had a total, like the parish president Sheng said, we had a total of 12 cumulative deaths. And then in the last 24 hours, we had another 12. And we now have even a couple more today. Certainly that's tragic. But I want to emphasize that most of the people that have passed away had been sick for a while. Because one thing I don't want the community to think is that all of our efforts are for nothing. And we've been doing all this social isolating and staying away, and look, there's still more people dying. I believe that our efforts are working, but we won't see the effect of that for a while. And so I want to emphasize to everybody, we are on the right track by doing what we're doing with the social isolation. Please don't stop. Please don't think that we've failed as a community because of these deaths that we had in the last day. Expect more. We're not near our peak, okay? And we just don't want our peak to be as high as it could be. We wish it'd be zero, but we know it's not going to be. But we got to work hard as a community to keep doing the things we're supposed to do with social isolation. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Cantor and Dr. Satanovich. I'd like to invite our superintendent of the Jefferson Parish Public Schools, Dr. Cade Brumley.
So on behalf of our school board and our administration, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to everyone as we fight this community, to fight this virus. 3 important updates that I wanted to share with our community today. First has to do with our grab-and-go meals. We will be making a shift with our grab-and-go meals. First of all, it's important to know that we have served around 100,000 meals since we started this curbside just over a week ago. We're averaging around 12,000 meals served per day. Beginning this Monday, there will be a shift. We will move to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday structure, and we'll be serving multiple meals each day. So, for instance, if you come on Wednesday, you would receive a lunch for Wednesday, a breakfast for Thursday, a lunch for Thursday, and a breakfast for Friday. And so this will allow us to be able to provide meals for 7 days a week, because on Friday, we would serve meals that would carry through the weekend for our children. So one important shift, beginning next week, our grab-and-go locations will go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and be servicing multiple days at a time at our 13 sites. Also beginning Wednesday, we will begin some delivery options where we'll be running bus routes, 5 different routes through the parishes in some of the neighborhoods that we haven't been able to fully service through our grab-and-go locations. Information about those sites will be at jpschools.org/grab-and-go. So the takeaway is we're moving to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday model on our meal service. Next is our at-home learning continuity. As we've said numerous times, the parent is the child's first teacher. Parents like myself are stepping up to the call while our students are home, and we want to thank all of our parents for doing that work and supporting the learning of their children while they're at home. Online resources are at jpschools.org/learn-at-home. We've updated that with the collaboration with the parish to add library resources. We have information for diverse learners, accelerated learners, etc. at that website. We do want to announce that this Monday we will be releasing our next round of paper-based learning packets at our grab-and-go sites. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week, our paper-based packets will be available in grades through 8th grade, but also this time a select number, about a dozen high school courses as well. So we ask that our high school students also show up to those sites. Homework hotline, I want to remind our parents and our students, is 504-349-8999. And then lastly, I just want to speak to our seniors, our 12th graders, our class of 2020. This is supposed to be the most memorable year of your school experience, but not in this way. But let me be clear to our parents and our seniors, you are still the class of 2020. I will work with our State Department of Education, I'll work with our State Board of Education, and I will advocate for you, and I will push for and expect grace for each of you as you remain the class of 2020. Please keep doing your schoolwork. Help me by doing that. These are stressful times for you. These are stressful times for your parents and your families, but as much as possible, do not let this be one of your worries. This has been a senior year like no other, but we will get through it, and know that I'm putting you on my back as the class of 2020, and look forward to signing your diplomas. En español, seniors, les ayudaremos a graduarse a tiempo, no se preocupen. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Brumley. Today was a day for major legislation being passed at the federal level. There are so many different relief measures, and we want to make sure our local business owners understand that. And with that, I'm going to ask Mr. Jerry Bologna from our JEDCO team to come forward and help explain what happened today.
Thank you, Madam President. On behalf of JEDCO, the Jefferson Chamber, the Jefferson Business Council, and all of the business organizations across Jefferson Parish, we are unified in our commitment to businesses and getting them the resources they need at this time. As the President just mentioned, and since we started this press conference, the President has signed the $2.2 trillion stimulus bill. It's been well documented that there's relief for individuals, but there are quite a few measures within that bill that pertain to businesses, and in fact, and in particular, our businesses in Jefferson Parish. So we're doing a couple of things at this time. One, on the JEDCO website, on www.jedco.org, we have placed a resource guide that breaks down this bill. Our staff has been hard at work identifying the provisions in that bill that pertain to our businesses. There are some confusing measures in that bill. Many of our businesses have already begun filing for economic injury disaster loans through the SBA. But this bill does call for 7A loans, which are an SBA product, to become forgivable if businesses use those proceeds to maintain their payroll, pay their rent, and pay their mortgage. I think this is a huge incentive for our businesses that are making decisions every day on whether or not to retain their employees. We implore them to make these decisions with this in mind. In addition, on Monday at 1:30, JEDCO will be hosting a Zoom meeting online. And you can go to jedco.org and get this information, but we will break down the bill and what it means for our businesses in Jefferson Parish. Again, this is for businesses in Jefferson Parish. In addition to the forgivable loans, there are plenty of important items, such as the delay of certain tax filing deadlines and unemployment insurance benefits that will benefit our business community. So I want to say on behalf of the unified business community, this isn't our first time in the face of disaster. We have plenty of lessons learned in previous situations, and our unified message to you is we want our businesses to be in a position to succeed as soon as this has passed us. We realize this has taken a significant medical impact on our community, but it also has taken a very serious economic, or had a serious economic impact on our community. So we are committed to getting our businesses the resources so that they can succeed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Bologna. We do have some of our council members here. I want to give them an opportunity to address you. They have been on the front line of this COVID-19 virus. They are communicating with their constituents. So we have, I'll start with our at-large member, Councilman Scott Walker. Did you want to come give an address? And then we have, followed by our other council members that are present.
Hi, everybody. Not a whole lot to say on this end, except that we, I can speak for the entire council, are a resource for you, and I'm speaking to the people of Jefferson Parish. Our jobs now, the way I see it, are to put out as much information as we can in as real of time as we possibly can to keep you as up to date as you can be. There is a lot of misinformation out there, as I've talked about before, so it's important to deal in facts right now. It's important to see where your news sources are getting their information from and make sure that you don't help spread any unnecessary fear or panic. So all I would ask is use us as a resource. All of our offices are reachable. All of us are working. You can contact us directly through our Facebook pages, through our emails, through our direct numbers here. Everybody has the phones rolling over to people on their staff if they're not in the office here. So we're all reachable. We're all available. This is just another obstacle for us to overcome together, and we're going to do it. We're doing it already. I think as I drive around, as I just came from my house to here today, seeing the few people on the road that I'm seeing is a good sign. Seeing few people in the groceries is a good sign. So heed the message, continue to self-distance. Don't go out unless you have to. Get your groceries, get your prescription drugs, and do what you need to do. But if you don't have to be out, please don't go out. Thank you.
I did want to mention, we've gotten some messages today from people who have gone through our mobile testing site on the West Bank at the Ilario Center asking about results. That mobile testing center was stood up by the federal government. It's being run essentially by the state. So we are aware that there seems to be some delay in the results. So if you are one of those people who's gone through a mobile site and you are waiting on the results, we do know that there seems to be a delay. Our parish president has been very proactive in reaching out to the governor and reaching out to those above our government to alert them to this problem and see if we can get those results coming back to us more quickly. But again, if you're in that number and you're waiting and might think something's wrong with your particular information coming back, we are seeing that across the board right now and are trying to address it.
Thank you. I'm Dominic Impastato, Councilman for District 4 here in Jefferson Parish. I just want to say a couple things. Number one is what we're doing is working. The commitment from the community, as Councilman Walker pointed out, is clear. And all of the experts, all of the medical experts like Dr. Svetanovich and others are saying and seeing that what we're doing is working. While the numbers we get tomorrow, the numbers we get next week may not seem like it, but the results of what we're doing today are going to pay dividends down the line. We're going to get through this. We're going to achieve the result that we want if we stay committed as we are. But the question is then, what do we do then? And my appeal right now is to all of you who own businesses, all of you who operate and manage businesses in Jefferson Parish, in the greater New Orleans area, and frankly in the country as a whole. And I'm one of you. I'm a small business owner myself. If you're thinking about making personnel decisions, payroll decisions, rent decisions, facility decisions, I'm going to beg you, please don't make those decisions until you have thoroughly vetted the stimulus package that was approved today in Congress. Consult your local bank. Consult your accounting and tax professionals. Consult JEDCO, GNO Inc., the Jefferson Chamber, and those resources. Get a full working knowledge, because I think once you see it, once you learn the things that we've had the opportunity to see, you're going to see there's an opportunity here to keep people working, to keep people getting their paychecks, to keep people in our community paying their bills, and we're going to be able to make it through this and ultimately be bigger and better and stronger than ever. But please consult those and learn everything there is to learn about those before you make any major decisions, before you lay anybody off. If you've laid somebody off, hire them back, because you're going to see an opportunity to keep your business going and thrive through this at the end of the day. The last message I want to leave you with is that your Jefferson Parish government is operational and fully functioning 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, okay? While everyone may not be physically in the building, we are operating, we are providing those services. Where the law allows us to do a video conference or a web conference in lieu of a public appearance, we're doing it to keep your services running so that the citizens in Jefferson Parish do not lose one single bit of service, to make sure that the quality of life they have here is what you expect and what you demand of your tax dollars. If you need us, reach out to us. For me, my cell phone number is on the web. It's on the Jefferson Parish website. I'll give it again, 504-343-7327. Email us, text us, Facebook us, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Reach out to us. We'll provide you the services you need. Thank you, and wish all of you the best. Thank you, Parish President.
Thank you so much, Councilman. So now we can have any questions if anyone has questions. Yes.
Does the level of enforcement indicate that people are staying home, that businesses are staying closed? What is enforcement like?
I think generally as a parish we're complying very well. I mean, we will get calls, and I know the sheriff's office gets calls. My office will get calls if they see a gathering. We will tell the sheriff's office that. So that's helping, is that the community is concerned, the family members are concerned, and when they see something, they're alerting us. So, you know, at first we were driving around a lot trying to see what's happening, but the citizens are helping us be that enforcement piece, honestly, and are alerting. There have been a couple of times where I've had to address it with businesses, but not a lot. Given the overwhelming amount of businesses we have here in Jefferson Parish, I would say, you know, 99.5% compliance across the board. And again, we want to support. Some businesses are closing. Some restaurants that were open are now closing this week. And so that market's going to shake out. But we want to, again, we didn't mention it today, continue to support your restaurants that are open with your pickup and your drive-through. We want to give them the best shot of being able to stay afloat during these next couple weeks. Yes.
I have a question for Dr. Cantor.
Absolutely. Dr. Cantor?
Hi, Dr. Cantor. We're being told at St. Joseph of Harahan that there are a cluster of coronavirus cases and possibly even some deaths that are not being reported through CDC or your LEH website. What can you tell us about that, and is the Department of Health investigating any potential cluster at St. Joseph of Harahan Nursing Home?
Thanks, Jennifer. Yes, I can let you know that the Department of Health and our epidemiologists are working with that facility. They have been. They're well aware of what's going on. They're not ready to confirm publicly a cluster, and there's a couple of reasons why. They work to make sure that patient privacy issues are taken care of and that they can verify what is really happening. But they are engaged with the leadership of that facility And I think there should be some public information really in short time to come for that.
We're hearing from some workers there who say that some people who later tested positive have been coming and going from work because there wasn't that shared information. Are you hearing that?
I'm not hearing that specific issue. I know the information goes when they're speaking daily with the facility leadership, and those type of issues are dealt with very, very seriously. I will say in general, when these type of pieces of information rise up, oftentimes the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and people don't know if someone has a test pending, or there are other things that happen in nursing homes, and there are deaths that are not related to COVID, and all those take some time to flush out. But for that particular facility, yes, well aware of it, working closely with the leadership, and should expect to be able to say something publicly shortly. Thanks.
Can you talk more in general terms just about what are the requirements for nursing homes to have to report whether or not they have cases? Is there a threshold for how many, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad that you asked that question. Nursing homes and all medical providers are required to report diseases of public health significance to the Department of Health. It's called the Sanitary Code, and we actually have one of the strongest sanitary codes in the country in Louisiana. When this outbreak started, COVID-19 was added under emergency order to the Sanitary Code. So it is a immediately reportable condition. That means that any provider or any nursing home that has a case or suspected case needs to report that immediately to the health department. And I'll tell you what has been happening with the nursing homes is really as the testing has expanded, the reporting lines have changed a little bit. So as in the beginning of the outbreak here, when the state lab in Baton Rouge was the only lab performing COVID tests, and the public health office was approving those tests on a case-by-case basis, well, public health knew from the onset when a case was being tested out of a nursing home. Now that there's much more availability through the commercial labs, which is a good thing, sometimes it takes that nursing home to get the test back and then report that to the Office of Public Health to know that something is going on. But they are required to do that, and by and large they are. I understand it's not always publicly available, but these investigations are going on the back end really, all the time, every day.
Is there any consequence if someone were to not report or to violate that code?
Sure, and that would be an extreme consequence. They would be at risk of losing their license, no matter who they are.
And I'll comment a little bit about this. I just found out about this situation, the alleged situation, a few hours ago, and we started looking into it. At this point, and we're still looking, but at this point, we've only been able to identify one COVID-related death from that nursing home. If there are more, we'll find them, but I think we've looked pretty aggressively already. And we'll check more, but at this point, we've found one.
Sir, I know you had a question. Yes.
So there seems to believe that this may be pointing towards water will be a huge spray factor. What do you think this will mean for the parish for the future for large gatherings and for Mardi Gras?
I think when this is over, you're going to see us get back to our way of life in a way that we've never had it before. I think, this is a lifetime, a generational event. I hope it never happens again in my lifetime. I think our Mardi Gras traditions are steeped in who we are and what we're about. And we're going to, when this is over, the country and the world are going to live life again. So I don't, if the question is a broader question about Mardi Gras and are we going to continue to have, of course, that's who we are as a people and that's what we're about. I know personally myself, I broke the habit of touching my face so much, and I probably won't go back to touching my face a lot. Once you kind of make that change and you realize, personally, I would be someone who would get colds often, and it's probably because I was touching my face so much. So I think there'll be behavior changes. Certainly this will change who we are. This changes our psyche, just like Katrina did. It will change who we are, but I think the way we live life in Louisiana will be even better for it, because we celebrate life in everything we do, in our music, in our food, in our culture, in our relationships, in our family, in such a unique way in this country. And I just have a feeling this is just going to make that even better for us. Yes?
You also mentioned that this is affecting your family now. Do you care to elaborate in any words for people who are dealing with the same thing?
I don't care to elaborate, but I can tell you it has affected my family, not my most immediate family, but it has affected my family in several ways, whether through a death or whether through an illness. And I think I am not unique in that situation. That I think, we have people who are working and who are in the medical community who also have loved ones or who are seeing people with loved ones. And the difficulty, and I kind of shared this on the radio, I finally broke down yesterday, is, when you have a loved one who may be on a ventilator and they're by themselves and the family is not there to see them. I know certainly if I had a family member, I would want to be right at their bedside all the time. And with these trying times that we're having, that's not available. So I think that's an emotional burden for the nursing staff and the people who are there who are trying to also serve that role as well. So they are the front line of this thing. They are the soldiers in this war. And again, I know a prior speaker said that whatever we can do to support that community. My role and all of our role in government is supporting that community through trying to push the stay-at-home measures, trying to push the social distancing measures, because that is a direct function of what the medical community has to bear in the days ahead. So certainly I view that as my role as well. Yes?
This may be for you or for the sheriff. How's 911 services going, and has been anything reported within any of those services?
I'll let the Sheriff Joseph Lapinto.
The question, how's 911 services doing? Our 911 calls are probably down overall, but with an increase of medical calls. So, remember, we dispatch both police, fire, and medical. Medical calls have obviously increased, but our police calls have decreased. And we're still responding to calls. We're still making arrests here in Jefferson Parish. We don't want to. As I tell everybody, stay inside, stay home, don't force us to be called out. But your level of service here in the parish is still great. Obviously, I've got to deal with personnel issues, but because of the closures of other places around, like the courts, my bailiffs and different things have been able to transfer. My detective bureau is obviously having less calls for service, so we'll be able to supplement our patrol divisions if need be. So right now, we're not having a level of service decreased on the street. We have the ability to be able to continue to do that for a period of time, and we're working through our problems with our department of people that are symptomatic and trying to make sure we get them better.
What percentage are symptomatic?
I have probably 50 employees that are out symptomatic. Now that levels from great to minor in symptoms, but we're obviously checking them on their ability to be able to recover and how quick. And some of them have had this for a period of time, and actually to the point where they're recovering and ready to get back to work. So we're fluctuating that to make sure that we can see how long they've been out and how long they have been non-symptomatic to be able to get back to work.
Any other questions? Yes.
President Sheng, we're hearing from some people who speak English as a second language, some specific people who speak Spanish, that they were turned away from some testing sites because of the language barrier. They said they ended up going to an urgent care facility and incurring a lot of costs. Are there some efforts being made to provide some translations or any assistance specifically for people who don't speak English?
So the question is about English as a second language and the allegation that people are being turned away from testing sites. I certainly hope that's not happening. I know at the Ilario Center site that is not happening. We take people of all languages, of course, and what we're trying to get out to the community is that this is a health concern. So don't be afraid to come forward. If you're in an undocumented status, we just are trying to identify the positives in the community and make sure that you're not infecting the people around you. So put that concern out of your head. We're not turning over these lists to law enforcement community. We're not turning over these lists. There's no cross-checking on any of that. It is strictly a medical test being provided, and trust me, it is all of the HIPAA guidelines and all of those privacy concerns are being maintained.
Is there a specific person in the government or anything that someone who doesn't speak English as a first language can be a resource?
Yes, we have Ms. Daniela Bayo. So we were just about 9 weeks into our administration, our new administration, and she is one of our newest hires. She will get on Telemundo. She is reporting everything as well. We pushed out something in the Arabic language as well as the Vietnamese language. Our virtual day of prayer on Sunday will be that as well, a whole community type of event. So we were working that to make sure we reach those people and engaging the leaders in those communities and the people they trust. Yes. Any other questions? With that, I thank you for all being here today. I do want to remind everybody, I just mentioned it, Jefferson Parish is going to do a virtual day of prayer. You're able to see that this Sunday at 3 o'clock on Facebook, our Jefferson Parish Facebook, for a live virtual day of prayer for Jefferson Parish. Please stay involved with us. You can text JP Alert to 888-777. Also, jeffparish.net. Also, we are on all of our social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as our council offices also have those pages and through their own websites as well. So we have many, many resources we're going to get out to you. But again, please, everyone, we are still in this. We're in the midst of this. I think our darkest days are still ahead of us. So please heed the warnings. Stay at home. Please engage in social distancing. And everybody be safe. Thank you very much.